Every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Global with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Global with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the gang gang, Global with the gang gang, you know we don't play gang. East Coast with the gang gang, West Coast with the.
What's up, Scott? What up, B? What up, Boosh?
With that gang gang. You know
what's going on? Drop a comment if you're coming through the door. Say what up to Daddy Swole. What's up, Beesh? What up, what up, what up?
Right up in your face.
What up, Booshes? Yo, 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 yo. Holla for $1. What up? What up? What up, Beeshes?
Got that change, we bagged up. True love, we stay manned up.
I'm like I'm wheezy, baby.
Rap game just too
what up, what up?
Drip so sick, I'm queasy.
Yup. Ha ha ha, what up, Mina Beaches? What up, Beesh?
Walk to the line, good versus evil. God in his prime, always in prime, always on time. Our time to shine, wifey is fine. I'm doing fine, glad that you asked. God fill me up, mud in my glass. God clean me up, all that I ask. Wherever you headed there fast. I am ahead, you are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip it up fast. Fast and all furious, I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious, you put me on blast. Blasting that Darius, kids in the back to the future.
What's going on, Scott, Abigail, Amy, Michelle, Max Stutter? What up, Fire? Was just watching that. Yeah, you're liking that? No, it's crazy, right? Fun stuff for YouTube videos. Fun stuff. I don't like gloating. I'm not trying to rub anyone's face in it, but she dug her own hole. Everyone's got to know about this. Bad shit. Can't let people get away with that. Q&Anus. It used to be the Q&Anus. It used to be Eli's Q&Anus. Oh. Let's let everyone come into the door. Make sure you say what's up. If you're new to the podcast, say what up, Papa Swole. Say what up, Daddy. What's up, my new daddy? My new podcast daddy. Yeah. What up? What up, baby?
Start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Sick fucking gains.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh. Can anyone else does anyone else just want this song on repeat all day long? I never want to start the show because the song is so good. If you want to catch King Darius's Ish, got a new song dropping soon from King Darius. Make sure you go check him out. Subscribe and follow him. Follow his shit on SoundCloud. Yeah. Yep.
That gang gang.
Yep.
You know we don't play games. Hop up on that wagon. Oh, please just get out the way. You know we stay stunting. Right up in your face.
What's up, Jennifer? Adam? That's right. The Q&Anus.
Put that glass and hands up.
I thought about calling it the Q and butthole, but a little much with the Q and butthole.
Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy.
All right, Beaches, shall we dance? You ready for a little dancing? Oh, wait, hold. Chorus.
Walk to the line, good versus evil. God in his prime.
Pinch my nips. I know you like that shit. Gang.
Glad that you asked. God fill me up. Mud in my glass.
Solio. Papa, fucking slowly. Oh.
I am ahead. You are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip it up fast. Fast and all furious.
I'm not weird. What are you talking about? I'm not weird, me. I'm not weird. I'm not weird. East Coast with the gang. West Coast with the gang. All right, fam, we are here. We're ready. In 3, 2, 1, y'all. Give me some coffee.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1010 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome to the Sunday Funday Q&Anus, everybody. Welcome. And if those of you that have been following me for a long time, you know it used to be the Q&Anus. It used to be the Q&Anus, and I decided that with my content, the Q&A just doesn't hold water anymore. So from now on, it is the Q&Anus, and if you don't like it, if you think it stinks, it probably does. No, we love the Q&Anus. Don't pretend like you don't like it. Everyone else can keep their Q&As. We go Q&Anus here. Welcome, everyone streaming live. We're here on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the podcast, make sure you subscribe. You can find me everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, everywhere. And what's going to happen is, I got some announcements. So let's do the announcements and get that out of the way first. Good afternoon, Mr. Non-Scammer. Oh, I thank you. Is that how people are going to be notified? Or is that how people are going to be categorized now? Scammer and non-scammer? Is that how we're going to do it now? Anyway, so if you've been following the latest, if you want to call it drama, I don't consider it drama. I consider it just life and things that happen and things that people do and things you have to be aware of and things that I am going to let you all in on. And I'm going to notify you, because I wouldn't know about most of this stuff unless someone told me. And I'll tell a little backstory and then mention the new stuff. And then I want to talk about what's going on tomorrow too. But if you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, not just for the psychotic driving while gainings, but also for the other style of videos I do. A little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more serious, both, because all my videos have that essence of humor or my type of humor. But I've been talking about the Brittany Dawn thing going down. So if you haven't yet checked out those videos, go check it out. A new one dropped today. There will be another video tomorrow. Today's episode is a Q&A. Tomorrow is going to be revolving. I mean, there are more driving while gainings coming. Everyone's asking me. I post two fucking videos that aren't driving while gaining. Everyone's like, "Are you not doing driving while gainings anymore?" It's 2 videos. It's been 2 fucking days. Take a chill pill. Go watch the 3,000 videos I have on YouTube. And patience. I got more. Trust me. The next one's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So I'm doing all sorts of content. I'm doing everything. I'm news jerking. I'm talking about whatever. I'm raging in the car. You're going to get all sorts of stuff, but that's all going down on YouTube. And tomorrow's episode, got a special guest, Alan Roberts from Every Damn Day Fitness. A lot of you follow both of us. He does a lot of this exposure content. He does a lot of great content. And what's great about his videos, he always picks up on these little things. I usually go into these videos with a sledgehammer. I'm like, look at this. Fuck this person, and I'll just rage and driving while gaining, and I just fucking rant in the car. He does a lot of videos like that as well, but he always picks up on really cool aspects and interesting things, and he gets he finds a lot of people that are copying other people's content. It's great stuff, and he's going to be on the show live tomorrow. And for those of you that are watching, and I want to talk about this right now, because tomorrow I will not be streaming live on Instagram, because it's going to be a one-sided conversation. You will not be able to hear me or hear him if you watch on Instagram. So make sure, if you watch on Instagram, to go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell next to that subscribe button so you get notified. It's going to be 12 noon Eastern time. All right? It's going to be 12 noon Eastern time on my main. So even those of you right now that are watching the Daily Swole podcast on the Daily Swole podcast channel, it will be streamed live on YouTube and everywhere else that I normally do it, except Instagram. Because you'll literally hear me talking and you won't hear him talking. So that's stupid. But it will be on my main YouTube channel. So at Swolenormous. You will not see it on the other one. You'll see it on the main one. And most of you, if you're subscribed to the smaller one, you're going to be subscribed to this one. So, and I'm considering, I think I mentioned that before, I'm considering doing Sunday Funday Q&As on the main channel, doing like one a week, or maybe having a guest, or doing something like a Q&A, or doing the Q&A every Sunday on the main YouTube channel, something like that. So that's a thought that I've been having. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But he has a big following over there, and a lot of his people use YouTube. So I want them to be able to access it. So I'm going to do it on my more popular channel over there. So at Swolenormous on YouTube. Swipe up links are on my Instagram, and you can just go to, most of you are subscribed already, but you can go to YouTube at Swolenormous and hit that notification bell, 12 noon Eastern time. 12 noon Eastern time. You guys remember that? Remember when the Daily Swole was always at 12 noon Eastern time? Just can't maintain that after a while. I just couldn't do it all the time at 12 noon. Did it for a while. All right. So that'll be fun. That'll be awesome. And that's tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time. So new YouTube video today. There'll be another one tomorrow. And yeah, actually, it's going to be tomorrow's YouTube video is going to be more about this whole issue with Brittany Dawn. There's just more that comes out. And look, I don't have the biggest voice out there, and I'm sure someone down the line, other people are starting to pick up this story, quote unquote. But the reason why that's important, before we get into the Q&A, the reason why it's important, the reason why I am, quote, reporting and voicing my opinion is that, like, this is not the only incidents. And I think a lot of you understand that. This is not the only thing. It's like when someone gets caught for using steroids in sports. They're not the only fucking person that got caught. I mean, they're not the only person that's using. They're the only person right now that got caught. Other people are fucking using. Other people are scamming people. Other people are doing cookie cutter programs. Other people are not, offering, full refunds. Other people are doing this, but on a smaller scale. So the reason why this is only coming out now is because things have to sometimes boil and come to a head. You don't just all of a sudden have one person complaining and everyone just goes, scam, scam. You usually don't believe it, right? No, they're not cheating. No, they're not this. Oh, it's just one person. A couple comments get deleted, so it doesn't get the attention it deserves. So this is just not the only instance. It's just the one that's happening right now that's really big. So it's not something that's isolated. Other people are getting screwed. Other people have gotten screwed. But if you buy a program or do something from someone and you don't get what you paid for, usually it's like, fuck, I got screwed. You might tell a couple friends and then you lost some money, or you didn't get what you paid for, and you're disappointed and you might leave a negative comment, but that's going to get lost. So it's important that these things get out there so other people that have the same issue will come forward. It's kind of like Me Too. One person says, he abused me, and then other people come out, well, you abused me too. And it's not like everyone's trying to scam and get a refund that don't deserve it. It's just that when you see that other people also have the same issue, you're like, oh shit, I'm not alone. You don't want to be, running tattletale and pointing fingers. You might think it's only you. You might think maybe you did something wrong or it's an isolated incident, but it turns out that it's not. So you never know. So I'm not really, I don't know from a personal standpoint. I don't know exactly what everyone's details. I keep on getting more information, so I'm sharing that with you. But that's why it's important to talk about these things, because a lot of people are getting fucked out there. And this is not just happening in this situation. This is happening with other people. We just haven't heard about that yet because maybe they just don't have a big enough voice. They might not have anyone to tell. And a lot of people just don't care. Like, you're not going to care. This is an extreme comparison. How much do you care when you read on the news, like someone got shot and killed? You think about it, you're like, oh, that's fucked up. That's terrible. That's not a good thing. You don't want people to die. But it's like, you don't know who they are. It's a no one and a no one according to, relative to you. It's like another death. And this is happening all the time. We just only hear about it when a celebrity gets shot or something big happens or someone gets assassinated. Holy shit. Oh my God. I mean, people are dying all the time. So this is not an isolated incident. It's just the biggest one that's going down right now. So that's why it's important. And not to mention, I'll do what the fuck I want. I'll make videos on whatever the fuck I want, bitches. You don't got to watch my shit. You don't got to watch my fucking shit. Go watch someone else. Whew. Okay. Calm down, Papa. Calm down. All right, so the Q&Anus underway. So right now you can drop your questions. You can drop some questions. I am going to go through priority questions, ones that were dropped as comments under the thread and the post that I made on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm going to go through those first. Drop your questions. I'll try to get to as many live as possible. And we'll be here for, more or less as long as it takes, probably an hour or so, depending on how many questions there are. I haven't checked. I haven't looked. And I always like to answer comments and respond and be like, thanks for posting, or respond to your comments. I like to really just not look at the Q&A so I get it fresh, so it's on the spot. So I haven't looked through. Usually I don't respond or I don't like and I don't reply for these specific posts because I just want it to be fresh on the moment. So that's why. So don't think I'm ignoring you. So let's go on Facebook first, because Facebook doesn't like to get my pictures out to my followers. Even though I have the biggest following on Facebook, Facebook doesn't like to show people my shit. So fuck you, Facebook. Pain in my ass. All right, Nathan Oakley. What's the benefits of the, quote, toe shoes? Ooh, the toe shoes. What's the benefits of the toe shoes? I've seen you wear them, and where can we find them? Well, Nathaniel, can I call you Nathaniel? The benefits of the toe shoes is your fucking feet, bruh. Your feet, dude. A lot of people ask me to make fun of them. Oh, you're wearing girls' slippers. No, I'm not. I'm wearing minimalist shoes and footwear in order to use my feet. If you're wearing shoes, they're literally foot coffins. You're fucking up your posture. You're fucking up your body's tactile response system, your balance, your stabilization, your musculature, and it throws off your entire body posture. So you don't have to wear the Vibrams, but they make Vivo barefoot. There's a lot of different type of minimalist shoes that have zero heel rise, whatever you want to call it, heel drop, and you can actually use all the muscles in your feet. I prefer to be completely barefoot, and that style of Vibram, the most minimalist, yeah, they look like ballet slippers. I just don't give a fuck. I want it to feel like I'm not wearing shoes, and those help me feel like I'm not wearing shoes. And you can find Vibrams anywhere. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them in stores a lot of times. So many places. But there's other brands. So if you go on Google, you know that thing that exists, Google, where you can search for shit. Yeah. Type in barefoot shoes, and there's a lot of brands. There are tons of brands. There are barefoot type shoes that look like dress shoes. They can get expensive. They can get into the couple $100s, but if you're wearing shoes and you're in an office all day and you want to be barefoot, but you want to have minimal heel drop, but you still have to dress a certain way, it's good to invest. I mean, people spend thousands of dollars on shoes. Why not get something that's not going to fuck your body posture up? Next question, Richard Schmith. Are microwaves as bad as people think for heating food? By default, I would just say avoid them if you can. I believe on like Joe Rogan's podcast a while back, Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying, oh, that's just overblown. Microwaves heat up the water in the food, not the actual food, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't use microwaves. I don't. That's out of habit. Like my mom is very old school and old fashioned. So I didn't really grow up using microwaves. I did for a little bit when I didn't care as much about my health. I'm not saying that it does affect the food. I don't know the latest research, if that's all blown out of proportion, but it's certainly not necessary. Let's put it that way. I mean, I like my food cold, to be honest. I live down in Florida, so it's hot as fuck. The last thing I want to do is eat like a piping hot sweet potato, and I'm sweating my ass off. So I like my food cold conveniently, so I really rarely heat it up. If I cook it, I'll eat it in that moment. It'll be hot. I have no problem with warm or hot food. I just don't like reheating food. I mean, you ever cook like a nice steak and then try to reheat it? Fuck microwaving or reheating a steak. It always tastes rubbery. Like, it ruins it. So I prefer it cold. I like it that way. So I would just recommend not using it. I mean, it's convenient at the same time. Why take the risk? If anyone has any more information on that, I just don't use them. I don't really look into that. But at the same time, if I run around saying, hey, it's bad for you, I guess I probably have said that, but I don't know if that's actually true. But, it's certainly not something that's natural in nature. But what does that mean, really, right? I mean, anything is kind of technically natural because we're getting it from the earth. So you can really stretch that definition a lot. Next one, Gwen Nettleton, AUXT. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Oxt. I like it. Have you had the chance to try a session at Hotworks Studio yet? I don't even know what that is. Infrared benefits are real, bro. Yeah, but I don't want to work out in infrared. I'm totally fine sitting in an infrared sauna or something. I don't know what Hotworks is. Never heard of it. And no, I don't need to do a session. I like to go to the gym or work out or do yoga and stuff. I mean, yoga maybe. Yoga might be good in infrared. Fine. I mean, I don't mind hot yoga, but I don't need a hot fucking room to work out in. I get hot enough. Look at this beard. Look at this beard. This beard is insulation enough. Brandon Mummy. I'll call him Mummy because Mummy sounds like a strange way to pronounce the last name, but what up, B? You're a valued commenter on Facebook. Very cool. Keeping hydrated, or how can I recover from getting dehydrated? By drinking more water. All right. I know drink water, but sometimes I feel like my body rejects it. Can a mixed powder drink actually help, like Drip Drop? What the fuck is Drip Drop? It's an actual product. I've never heard of that. If you're dehydrated, you're lacking water. However, you're also lacking other things. Like, you can put some things like Celtic sea salt in your water. You might be also deficient in other electrolytes, and electrolytes are just, I believe the definition of an electrolyte is a molecule that conducts electricity. You can fact check that. I'm not sure, but I think that's where they got the name from. So you might be, also missing things like sodium and magnesium and potassium and other electrolytes. So how do you know? I don't know what you mean by you feel like your body rejects it. Here's one thing. It's just like the desert, how you have flash floods. If you're really dehydrated and then you chug a lot of water, you're going to feel bloated as shit. Like it's kind of like when you have the flash floods, when the soil is so dry and just fucking like a rock, the rain will come down and you think it's going to moisturize the land, but it just hits like a freaking cement and then just runs off and starts those flash floods. So that's similar to the body. If you're extremely dehydrated, you don't want to just chug water. That can be really painful or a problem for the body. If you drink too much after being severely dehydrated, you have to like ease into it and allow your body to digest it or to absorb it. So I don't know what you mean by you feel like your body rejects it. I mean, it's a good sign to listen to your body, but it's kind of hard to go off that. Like if you're feeling it, how do I know? How can I give you an answer based on what you feel? I don't know what you're feeling. Exactly. All right. Clayton, did I miss 1,000? I know Papa. No, you didn't miss the episode. Okay. Let's see. Gabby 16 Melly. Hip thrust. I saw this thing on IG from the glute guy, how they called it, and he ripped off one of his glutes. Oh, by trying to get a PR. Who's the glute guy? Who are you referring to? Brett Contreras or someone else? Oh, by trying to get a PR? Who goes for PR? Only that guy would go for PRs on his fucking ass cheeks. He ripped off one of his glutes. Fuck, that's like tearing a pec. Those are muscles that don't rip. You don't tear a glute. That's so hard to do. What are your thoughts on that? And what are my thoughts on that? That fucking sucks. Sounds painful, and I would not recommend doing it. And if that is, what's the best way to grow glutes or not? And what are exercises for that specific area? Deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, hip thrusts are fantastic. Barbell hip thrusts, single leg squats, single leg Romanian deadlifts, single leg hip bridge, frog pumps, frog bridges. Those are all great. I mean, it's just consistency. Squats. But here's the thing. None of those things are going to work unless you're activating your glutes. So if you're activating your glutes and you're isolating your glutes, things like a hip bridge, you have to make sure that when you're doing a bridge, when you're doing a thrust, that it's not your hamstrings taking over. It's not your lumbar spine that's taking over. You're arching your back too much. That's where you get too much from Instagram. And those Instagram, quote, glute experts, they work their lower back. They're working their spinal erectors. They're jacking up their hamstrings more because they don't have proper posture, because they wear heels. They have that lower back arch because they're trying to pop out their booty in their Gymshark pants. So you get a lot of that garbage on Instagram and on social media. So people tend to like try to push their hips up as high as possible. You want to try to keep that posterior pelvic tilt in order to make sure your glutes are getting activated. So a lot of stabilization work and a lot of slow twitch activation in terms of time under tension, doing stabilization balance work in terms of activating the glute muscles, and then you can progress into more strength training. And then when you're doing the hip thrust, you're targeting your glutes completely. I mean, I don't know why he tore his glute or whoever you're referring to, but it could be he was doing it too often, could not be warm up, just be sometimes things break. You could do everything. You could do yoga, you could do mobility, you could eat right, you could sleep well. I mean, you go to put stress on your body, you're still rolling the dice. There's no guarantee that you're not going to get injured or get sick or whatever just because you do things as well as you can. It's always a risk. Like you could do everything and then not get hurt and stretch and do everything and then trip and fall and, who knows, and then crack or break your arm for whatever reason. Cats AZ scenario. Ooh, a scenario. I like a scenario. Here we go. This is on Instagram. Scenario. An adorable little girl rings your doorbell. She offers you Girl Scout Girl Guide cookies. Girl Scout cookies. Do you A, buy them, B, slam the door on that jabroni, C, tell them to sign up to Soulnormous X, or D, ask Floki why the Christians are too insecure to make sick gains? Ooh, good question. So let's go through this in depth because it's a very important question. No, you don't buy them. B, you could slam the door on that jabroni, but then that doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help her and doesn't help you. So it doesn't seem like a amicable way to solve this issue. I could tell her to sign up for Swolenormous X, but it depends. If she's too young, it's a legal risk to me because she might not be really ready to perform some of the exercise. And I don't want her necessarily doing deadlifts without real close supervision as her growth plates are still developing, the epiphyseal plates and all that nonsense. So I would probably ask Floki why the Christians are too insecure to make sick gains. I absolutely would. 100%. And yes, you all will get more Floki. You'll get more Floki. I promise. It's coming. You don't even know what I have coming. It's going to be fun. So yes, that episode was hilarious. I appreciate it. That's right. That was when someone was commenting and being like, why are Christians insecure? Is it true that Christians don't get gains because they're insecure? And I was like, why are you talking about the Christians? And I went to like the whole Floki rant. Someone else was mentioned on Facebook, more Floki. Why don't Christians make sick fucking gains? They never do, Ragnar. So you'll get more Floki. I should do a whole entire episode as Floki. If you want to see more of that, you can drop in the comments. I'm always down for good voices. Maelstrom Performance Fitness on the Shinstagram. Would love to hear anything and everything about hyperplasia and the studies research you've come across pertaining to it and muscle building. I don't go through research like that. Hyperplasia, you mean increasing the number of muscle fibers? As far as I'm aware, that's something that only like cats do. Right? But I mean, that there could be new research. I don't believe it really happens in humans or that they've proven it. It's the kind of thing that's really hard to see. How do you know, right? You're just cutting into someone, just taking muscle biopsies. That's not really comfortable. So I don't know the latest research, so I can't really answer that in depth. And I don't know, man, who cares? I mean, these are things that might exist in the body, but here's the thing, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't care. Scientists should care. I guess we care about the result, but here's the thing when it comes to the human body. All this stuff that we're studying, right? All this stuff that scientists are studying. The reason why people get way too fucking highbrow, the reason why people get way too into it is because we're exposed to so much knowledge. However, all that knowledge, most of it is not necessary. Like, do you need to know if hyperplasia is possible? You don't. Like, your body will digest food, whether you know how the body digests food or not. I want to repeat that one more time, just because, like, more like a philosophical standpoint. If you eat food, as we have for thousands and thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of years, your body will digest it, whether or not you know how the body actually does the mechanism. Your body automatically does it. So there's a point where, okay, the scientists are studying things and we're learning things and we can use that for constructing fitness programs and we learn about science, but there is a lot of stuff out there that's just not necessary for the average person. What are you trying to get out of your fitness? Is the goal to know everything? You never will. I don't know everything. Every time I learn something, I'm losing something else. There's so much knowledge and now it's not like 30 or 20 years ago when you had a lot of knowledge. Oh, you read books and you studied and there was a couple places where you got information. And unless you were a scientist in the actual trenches, you only knew so much. You only knew what got printed. And usually it takes a couple years for information to get to journals and to get to textbooks and this, that, and the other. And then now we just have so much information. Everyone's a fucking backseat scientist. Everyone's a research scientist. There's just so much information. Everyone's just posting studies, but I found this study, but I found this study. I don't think anyone really knew that there were hundreds and thousands of studies all the time before, but the journals controlled the information. Now you can just see every study that's ever done all the time. There's always tons of studies. There's always more research. So I don't even bother keeping up with it. I'll keep up with like the headlines and like the latest. And if something really makes big waves, but there's just way too much to go through. And if you're going to have a life and you're going to do something with a career and it's just really, really hard to find everything. Because as much as you can find one study that shows one thing, you can often find another study. So, studies are just kind of like stepping stones in a stream where you just kind of jump through. You get to one study. A study doesn't give you an answer. A study leads you towards another study. So that's a big misconception. And a lot of times articles and blogs and posts use a study to prove a point for an agenda. Whereas a study isn't an answer. A study doesn't prove a fact. A study shows what that study found in that instance with those people in that method. And it should lead to more studies and more research. But when we start using studies as like weapons and we have these debates like, oh, well, this study shows, yeah, well, that's going to lead to this and that's going to lead to this. You can have a debate all you want. It's not proof. So more stuff has to be done. And in terms of that specific topic, I know I went off the rails a little bit, but the subject is true. I'm not sure of the latest on that. Hello. My question, do you believe in bulking to gain muscle and then cutting to get lean? Well, that's the only way. I mean, bulking, you mean, do I believe in just putting on a ton of weight and then cutting it back down? I believe that you can put on weight slowly and put on clean muscle mass slowly. But I also believe that most people don't have the patience or don't measure their progress properly enough. And what I mean by that is most people don't do DEXA scans or underwater weighing or any kind of like real proper, like the way to actually see what you're gaining, what you're losing. Most people aren't as consistent with it. Most people don't get that analytical. If you're a professional or you're really obsessed and you just have so much practice and you've been doing it for so many years and years, then maybe you could do like a lean bulking. But I don't like these YouTube videos and these fitness quote pros that try to promote lean bulking as if anyone or the majority of people, I don't care if it's possible. Is it realistic for people? It's a lot more easy to understand and to swallow the concept of eat a caloric excess, sorry. It's a lot easier. Why am I getting a phone call? Hold on a second. That shouldn't have happened. I don't know why the phone rang. Anyway, so let me continue. Where was I? Lean bulking. So if you're eating the right foods, most people don't have the foundation down. Most people don't have the basics down. What has to happen first is that the right foods have to be consumed. You need to cut out and fix your lifestyle habits first. A lot of people are worried about bulking and losing and all this, gaining, losing, well before they are actually taking care of their hydration, their sleep, they're on a proper training schedule. They understand, they're eating the right foods. They don't have their foundation secure. So they're building this structure on a shaky foundation. They're building a structure on a shaky foundation and they're not going to get the results that they want because they're fundamentally not doing it right with proper real food. They're sucking down too many supplements or doing too many high intensity exercises. They're not resting enough. They're not doing yoga. So I prefer with my content to approach it as how you should fundamentally, and of course through advanced, we have a lot of advanced trainers and people in Swole Enormous X. So I give content and I have programs and training for all levels, but it's important to always have that foundation be the most important part. What's your opinion on Christy's journey? What's your opinion on Pilates? I don't practice it regularly. Some people like it. I have nothing against it. You can use that in place of yoga or use it in conjunction with yoga, but I think yoga should be the main focus. And if you want to do Pilates as well, I have nothing against it. Depends on your goal. So I don't have any real personal experience with doing Pilates regularly. Tacos de Trisha on Instagram. Doing yoga and keeping my nutrition on point. Is this enough for weight loss? I don't know. You tell me. BMI needs to go down by 10%. What does that mean? To be in a healthy range. Oh, okay. Stopped with weights due to a back injury, but healed up now. Loving yoga and really just wanted to focus on that. Oh, doing yoga and keeping, is that enough for weight? Of course. If you're eating the right foods and you're in a caloric deficit, you can absolutely, and you should absolutely lose weight. So other things you want to focus on is proper hydration, stress management, getting sleep, stress management, removing toxins, removing, artificial and all these like endocrine disruptors from your surroundings, shampoos, deodorants, perfumes, and getting better quality products without like phthalates and parabens and all those things that can disrupt your endocrine system and cause like raises in estrogen, for example, for guys and for women. So it's definitely enough to lose weight because weight loss, as you've seen, and again, extreme case, but the concentration camps, okay, they lost weight because they were starved, of course. However, it's an extreme caloric restriction. That's not good. I'm not saying I'm in favor of that, of course. However, restricting your caloric intake, you're getting less energy than you require for the function that you're doing, not too little. If you eat too little, your body can go into a really stressful state where you actually retain body fat and you lose muscle mass because your body will try to hold on to its reserves. So you don't want to just go into like 1,000 calorie a day diet. So what you might want is, if let's say you're utilizing 2,500 or 2,000 calories a day, you only need 1,800 or 1,500. You don't have to do so dramatic of a drop. Tailor-made bodies. Yo, love the page, bro. Any suggestions on online marketing coaches? Who's good, who's fake, and who's just taking your money? What do you mean? Like online marketing coaches? You mean people that are doing those, like, I turn people into 7-figure, fitness pages and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man. I see that shit all the fucking time. And, I have in the works Swolenormous Pros, because I've literally learned and done everything myself from the ground up. But you can learn all that stuff for free, and you can do courses, you can do all that stuff. But literally what people don't do is have patience and put in the work and Google shit. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing what people want to go through. If you're worried about scams or who's just taking your money, I mean, you have to pay for quality service. Doesn't mean that they're scamming you, but all this information is free. So if you're learning, like, oh, how do I get leads? How do I create an email list? How do I, create a landing page? How do I, create an ebook or make a video? You just have to Google it and then put in the work and put in the time. So the best thing to do is to see reviews, or people, sometimes you don't know if reviews are real. You have to maybe get word of mouth. You can go to some of these networking events and talk to people in person. You can make sure that they have money back guarantees and all these other things. So it's really up to you. I don't have anyone in particular because I don't use anyone, so I can't talk from personal experience. But I am looking to develop something like that myself, just because I'm a real person and I did it myself, with that, with learning from other people in my circle. And you can absolutely learn anything you want online. You can learn how to put together a fitness program. You can learn yoga. You can do all this stuff. But, it's also nice to have it all in one place, which is why I created Swolenormous X and have a lot of, extremely high quality content behind a paywall. But I don't have anyone in particular in mind for an online marketing coach that I would recommend. That I would feel good recommending, because every ad that I see, I'm like, get the fuck off my page, bro. Every ad I see, get the fuck out of here. I just don't like it when people just flaunt that, like, as if, here's what I don't like about that stuff. I don't like when everyone puts in their bio, when it's, 7-figure maker, 7-figure this. Everyone's always putting money and dangling money as if that's the goal. If you do things the right way and you help people, and of course you build the structure of a business and you provide your product, you provide your services, the money is going to come. So if you're chasing the money, if you're like, ooh, this guy is a 7-figure maker, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean in yen, in dollars, like in how long? There's nothing quick. You're not going to make fucking 7 figures overnight. You're not going to make 6 figures overnight. I'm getting a lot of growth on my YouTube channel, for example. I've been making YouTube videos pretty much every fucking day for 3 to 4 years. And I have like 2,000 or 3,000 videos on YouTube. And I've done thousands of podcasts. Today is 1,010. So like, it's not an easy process. And if you're trying to make money quick, sure, there's a lot of things you can do to, quote, get rich quick, I suppose. But it's either going to be short-lived, and it's going to be short-lived. It's not going to be a long-term thing. So if you're trying to do shit for the right reason and you want to grow a long-lasting business, don't follow or don't go after anyone that's like, a 7-figure maker, quick fix, or, short-term, you're going to get all these results in a short period of time. Just like fitness, not going to fucking happen. Not going to fucking happen. Candy LeBleu, what are some good things to eat? Oh, come on. I'm skipping that question. What are some good things to eat? For real? God, I hate those fucking vague ass questions. You can go back and listen to some of the podcasts I've done since January 1st. We've talked a lot about elimination diet and so forth. So I appreciate the question, but do some homework, listen to some of my podcasts. We talk about that all the time. Not specific enough. Machib 13, if I consume my body weight in protein and go low carb, will I keep gains better while I cut? Biggest myth is that you need a ton of fucking protein. You do not need your gram per pound of body weight. You do not need an excessive amount of protein. Most people consume way too much protein. Way too much protein. If you go lower carb, the reason why people lose weight when they go low carb is because they lose a lot of water. That's why when people go into keto, like I'm going to do keto and lose weight, you see a lot of gains or a lot of results at the beginning because your body flushes out water when you drop carbs. When you start consuming carbs again, you gain that water back because water essentially attaches to the glucose molecule. So you'll lose water when you cut carbs, and that's why you get that yo-yo effect. You get depressed, you get blah, 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 blah. So if you're going to cut carbohydrates, make sure you up the healthy fats, the good, my healthy fats, grass-fed butter, grass-fed beef, but avocado, olive oil, olives, coconut oil, just really good quality fats. Of course, that's what I consume. I'm not recommending what I eat to anyone. That's what I do. But if you're going to drop the carbohydrates, do it slowly. A lot of people really like to do, hey, I'm eating all these carbs, I'm going to go 0 carb. Your body has to adapt. And the reason why people do, and they get either a lot of results at the beginning, or they feel sick, or they shit their brains out when they go high fat all of a sudden, it's because the bacterial profile, what you have in your gut biome that's digesting this food, it adapts to whatever you're consuming. So if you all of a sudden change exactly everything that you're eating in one day, and your body is not used to that, your body never had that access to food. Your body is not designed to go from one diet to an extremely different diet. Your body has evolved over millions of years to get used to what's in your location. People, if they wanted to travel, you had to fucking walk through the woods, and you wouldn't go that far. You would stay in the area generally where you were born. You wouldn't travel everywhere. So you would eat kind of the same food all the time. Now we're like, hey, I'm going to go eat tons of fat instead of carbs. Hey, I'm just going to go vegan all of a sudden. Hey, I'm just going to only eat seafood. So your body just fucking reacts like, holy shit, what is this? And you might get sick or feel bad because you're the extreme change. So that's very common. Let's see. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Healthy fats, I love. Fats are great. I don't do ketosis personally, but I think high fat is very beneficial. And that's from a personal experience of what I personally do. Liz Meyer 543. Any tips for people who no longer have a gallbladder? Eating healthy fats is still a challenge. You'd have to look into that more. But to be honest, my girlfriend doesn't have a gallbladder and she eats high fat and she's fine. So maybe it's a type of fat or what you're doing. Maybe it's a type of foods that you're consuming. Maybe that's what's going on. I know a lot of people that don't have, but they consume quality foods. So I don't know what exactly you're having an issue with. Let's see. Samurai Night Fever. Where do you guys get these fucking names from? Samurai Night Fever? What the fuck? I love it. Samurai Night Fever. Have you ever done a DWG on Dr. Nun Amen Ra? Vegan, OMAD. Have I ever done? Look, I've done a lot of stuff on vegan, one meal. I've done stuff on that. I also don't care. Here's the thing. When it comes to the driving while gaining videos on YouTube, I have to actually care about it. I can't just be like, oh, I'll do it on that topic. If I don't have that rage, I don't just do it like on anything. It's not like how it goes. If I don't really give a fuck about a topic or I don't feel like it, I don't do it. There's been a lot of DWGs where I've filmed and then at the end I'm like, I don't fucking, I wasn't passionate about it, the topic I thought as much as I thought I was going to be, or I didn't have enough caffeine. But I've done stuff on vegan. I've done stuff on calorie restriction. Oh, you're saying this guy, Dr. Nun Amen. Is that guy that name sounds familiar? I don't know who it is. Sounds familiar, but no, I haven't done one on him. Now I get it. You're not asking me if I've done a DWG on all those different topics. You're asking me if I've done one on him and he does all those things. Oh, so this guy does vegan, 1 meal a day, 1,000 to 1,500 calories, drug-free powerlifter. It sounds like bullshit. sounds like a load. Who knows? No, I haven't done one on him. I'll have to look him up at some point. Thank you for the suggestion. Anna KHVZ. Yeah, let's do that. So if anyone doesn't have a gallbladder or knows someone or has any specific or personal experience with that, drop in the comments and what your thoughts are on the issue. Again, I don't look at these questions first. I don't sit there and go through and scour the web and do all this research before I answer these just off the top of my head. So if I don't have a real answer or personal experience, I'm not going to answer something medical like that. I'm not going to be like, oh, eat X, Y, and Z, eat a lot of this. And then you eat it and fucking get sick or something. I don't want that to happen. Back in the gym after years away due to minor surgeries, what's the best way for leaning and toning the arms and legs? Calorie count or not? I don't like calorie counting. A lot of you are new to my channel, and maybe you found me through other channels and other content that I've done on YouTube, for example, and everyone's about macros and macro ratios. I don't care about the macros to start. It's about finding out what foods work best for your body and then going thereafter. Most people don't do an elimination first. I think that's important. There's no best way to lean and tone the arms and legs because there's no such thing as toning. It's just having muscle and having less body fat. So I would recommend doing yoga. I would recommend doing proper postural training, like doing stabilization training, doing an elimination diet, figuring out what's best for your body. And then you can start playing around with like adjusting higher fats, see if you like more of a Mediterranean style diet. You can figure out what foods your body, what you feel best with. But a lot of people look for, okay, how do I tone? Let's go back to what I was mentioning before. What's the best way to tone the arms and legs? A valid goal, but not the right question, not the right direction. It's not like, oh, these exercises, do this. That's not how you should be thinking. You should be thinking, is my nutrition on point? Is my sleep on point? Are toxins in my environment on point or not on point, like not non-existent? Am I doing mobility work? How's my posture? Am I at risk for any injuries? Like, people don't think about that as leading towards toned or, quote, toned or leaner bodies, but that's where it starts. So when you start chasing these macros and just buying a nutrition plan and then just going and fucking lifting and just doing random shit, can you get leaner? Sure. Can you do macros and calorie restriction and lose weight and get abs? Sure. But it doesn't mean that that's like the healthiest way for your body. And it doesn't mean that you're getting the optimal results for you. And everyone's going to be different. But a lot of people do these extreme diets or go play by macros and go by all this calorie counting, and they still don't get results because there's a lot of things at the foundation that they didn't go after. And that's why a lot of people will love one specific diet or love one diet plan or love one program. And a lot of people won't, because when you create a set structured rules for 1,000 people, 500 are going to get great results, 300 are going to get bad results, and 200 are going to be like, it's all right. So, there's always going to be someone who loves keto, and there's always going to be someone who loves vegan. There's always going to be someone who hates keto and hates vegan and doesn't like this, but loves carnivore, and other people don't like carnivore. There's a lot of individuality with what you can handle with a mental approach. There's a lot more to fitness and to life, and they're very intertwined. It's not fitness. It's not a hobby. If you want amazing results, it's your lifestyle. It's everything that you do. It's your nutrition. It's your sleep. It's everything revolves around being a healthy person. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go drinking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat this way, and I'm going to go work out and get results. It's everything. People don't think that sitting in a chair all fucking day or in a car or being stressed out at work or having a shitty relationship and having negative family and friend vibes around you, that's massive for stress. That's massive for consistency. That's massive for your progress. And if you don't have your head screwed on right, you're going to fall susceptible to a lot of this bullshit along the way. That's going to be bumps in the road. That's going to set you off. That's going to derail you. Super common. You can't overlook that. Coda Bauer, did I miss that? Coda Bowers, are there any exercises you recommend the general public avoiding? That's a double-edged sword because not everyone's going to have the same limitations, but there's a lot of them. Most people should be not doing overhead pressing. Most people should not be doing behind the neck pull downs. Most people should, unfortunately, most people should not be doing like deep squats. And that's not that, and this is not to say that any of those things are bad. Most people don't have the mobility to do any of those properly. Most people don't have the mobility to do an overhead press. Even if you can press overhead, it's usually with an excessive lower back arch, their front deltoid, and they're usually internally rotated and they're protracted and they're all fucking, rolled up like a fruit roll up in the front. Most people shouldn't do deep squats because they don't have the ankle and the hip mobility. So those are fantastic exercises for people that can do them. There's no wrong exercises. There's just, are you prepared and is your body conditioned and mobilized in order to execute the exercise properly? So it's very vague to say that there's a bad exercise, but some people, certain exercise would be considered bad or not a good idea until you open up those joints. Some people have different shoulder joints where it allows them for more external rotation. It'll allow them to get into that extreme shoulder flexed position. But for a lot of people, they're really rounded in because they're at computers and they didn't play sports and overhead activities when they were younger. So their subacromial space and that that chromion process, that little hook with the scapula that, you could cause some friction and cause some shoulder pain. Whereas you have all these other people that do behind the neck pull downs and stuff. I've been doing that for 40 years. Well, your body has adapted and opened up to the point where, and kids that, my age or grew up earlier usually played outside more. So their bones formed a little bit differently potentially. And it's also genetic. So there's a lot of different factors when it comes to that. Good question. Snowy T. I need to shed roughly 35 pounds in order to be what I consider a healthy weight for my frame, which may or may not be accurate. No offense. I do have some issues with knee joint inflammation, but I need to find the best, somewhat low impact weight loss method so that I can then focus on lifting and gaining muscle mass. That's your biggest mistake, is that you're trying to lose weight and then build muscle mass. You need to start just being healthier and exercising, period. I'd appreciate any advice or recommendations you have for those of us who have to lose significant amount of fat before we can focus on gaining muscle. Nutrition. I would not recommend going and slamming on your joints and doing running or doing, jogging or doing tons of cardio and putting excess weight. I'd recommend, like you said, low impact stuff. Yoga is fantastic. Stabilization, time under tension training. But I would start with lifting weights. You don't have to do crazy jumping and box jumps. You can do time under tension, lighter weights, and build that stabilization, practice yoga, and really get a handle on your nutrition and just be more active during the day. But usually when people are very overweight, they have a lot of knee valgus. That means the thighs are caving in and the knees have a lot of pressure. So you're at risk for meniscal tears and ACL injuries. So it's very important that you do proper foundational exercising. Yoga takes care of a lot of that. How many are we going? We got more. Oh, I don't know if we can get through all these. I don't know if we get through all these. Should we keep on going? Pal98, what do ketone supplements do or say do? I started keto and just curious what they are. I think they advertise that they're going to get you into ketosis, or they're good for ketosis, or they'll give you kind of like ketone bodies. It's kind of like, sucking down carbs, and getting like a little insulin spike. So the actual mechanism, I don't know. I don't take that stuff, but it's like energy. If your body is fat adapted and you're in ketosis, it's kind of like eating carbs, but you're getting ketones, because that's what your body gets when you're in ketosis. Your body breaks down the food and the fats into ketone bodies, and that's what your body utilizes for energy. But that's easy. If you want to look up the mechanism, you just Google that. Simple. King Donnie 44, I'm dumping the treadmill also. Feel like I need a little cardio. What is your opinion on jumping rope? It depends on your posture and your ability to, if you're really overweight, I don't recommend it because you have extra weight and you're putting a lot of pressure on your joints. Most people have ankle imbalances and hip imbalances, and jumping and just bouncing on your fucking joints is usually not so good. And people get a lot of things like Achilles tendonitis from doing that without balancing it out. There's nothing wrong with jumping rope. I personally don't. I have in the past, but I would do yoga. Everyone's like, oh my God, most of these answers just yoga. And I say that for a couple of reasons. You're going to get so many more benefits from yoga. You'll get so many more benefits from yoga than jumping rope. Jumping rope, you're just going boing, 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 get your heart rate up. If you really want to improve your body, you'll get your heart rate up fine. You'll also calm your body. You'll also lower cortisol levels. You're going to, open up your joints. You're going to activate underactive muscles. You're going to inhibit muscles that are too tight, hip flexors and so forth. So it's just much better use of your time. If you're practicing yoga regularly, sure, you can add in some jumping rope if you feel like it. But if you're not practicing yoga, I don't care what the fuck you're doing. That's the first thing you have to add. Oh, what exercise should I do for this? For toning? Are you practicing yoga? No. Add yoga. Oh, what do I do for this? Or what should I do for low impact this? Are you doing yoga? No. Okay, well, do that first. Again, if you're not doing yoga, whatever your question is, start doing yoga. So any question, you can drop any question you want right now. If you're not doing yoga, that's part of the answer. I don't care what it is. Everyone should be doing it. Everyone should be practicing and getting into a regular yoga practice. It just solves so many issues. It just solves so many muscle imbalances, activations, postural issues. It just solves so many problems. I can just say that, and it's going to help just fucking everyone in some way. What's in your meatballs besides grass-fed beef? Seasonings, like salt, pepper, and some garlic, I think. I think that's it. Why am I so much stronger after eating crap like pizza and calzones? Because you're consuming tons and tons of energy and tons of sugar and insulin release. Maybe you get even a testosterone little boost or something, but it's still fucking you up. Do you use beard oil, James Whitebread? Whitebread. Do you use beard oil on that bad boy, or are you running all natty? I have beard oil. I usually forget to use it. Right now, it's just, it needs to be trimmed. So usually when it starts getting too long and it starts getting split ends and I haven't trimmed it, I just say fuck and I let it go. So it's all over the place. I'll put coconut oil in. I'll condition it. I don't have a brand or anything I recommend. I don't even know what I use. I've gotten so much stuff sent to me. I just kind of grab one and use it. They all feel like the same for the most part. They really all feel the same, to be honest. Courtney Schwarzenegger, good name. I'm sure you've already discussed this. What's your thoughts on 16-hour fast, 8-hour feed? It's fine. Fasting's fine. I don't like calling it intermittent fasting. I like calling it fasting because that's what it is. It's just an eating window. I think it's important to eat within a timed window. You don't want to be eating all fucking day and all fucking night. So you'd have to try it and see how you like it. But it can be beneficial for some people. Some people tend to overeat because they just binge on food. It's much easier if you're doing a higher fat diet. If you're doing tons and tons of carbs, which I don't really recommend anyway, you're going to be really fucking hungry all the time and you're going to be like starving and you tend to overeat. But if you're eating a lot of fat, you're going to, it's easy. It's easy not to eat if you're eating tons of fat. Have you ever thought about, Shari, have you ever thought about expanding your platform and expanding to Sirius XM Live for the podcast? Absolutely fucking not. It's never even crossed. Is that even an option? Does anyone use satellite radio? Who the fuck uses Sirius XM? Does anyone use satellite anymore? I don't see it's necessary. You mean live? I don't know if, well, you could send me more information. I didn't know, or I wasn't aware if someone like myself can choose to stream. I would love to do audio live. I think that would be cool. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I don't know if they allow or they have to, I think you have to. Doesn't Howard Stern do that? I mean, I don't think it's something you can just choose to do. To be honest, that's the first time I've seen the phrase Sirius XM since like it first came out. I never hear anyone talk about it ever, which is just another sign. It's like, I don't know about that. But I think it's like built into cars and stuff. That's the only reason. I don't know anything about that if it's possible. Jacob Reynoso, 35. Do you consume bone broth every day along with collagen protein? I usually have bone broth every day, or I'll put some collagen protein in my coffee or something. Trying to get away from all the BS fillers and pre-workouts and the protein I'm consuming. Can you drink bulletproof coffee every morning? You can. Sometimes I have it black, sometimes I have it that way. Usually I have it bulletproof, but I usually drink black coffee as well. I prefer the taste over heavy whipping cream. Fuck yeah, so would I. Not to mention the benefits. What's your opinion on the vertical diet? I don't know about it. I've heard that before, but I've never looked into it, so I can't give you my opinion. Sorry. JHD9201. When you reach the point of burning while training, how do you, the swole? I am the swole. How do you, the swole, push past that barrier? You just do. You fucking push. I tried today and managed one more rep. Big guy at the gym spotted me and managed to get me 3 more. I don't have a training partner, nor do I want one. However, that was his unsolicited suggestion. Well, if you're benching and you're going to failure, that's just stupid to do without a spot. So you should never bench to failure without a spot, but I don't like training partners. So, certain exercise, like if you're doing a deadlift, you don't need a spot. If you're doing heavy squats, you can always say, hey man, can you spot me? But unfortunately, most people don't know. Spotting is an art. You don't just go over there and be like, and stand there and be like, okay. I mean, it's good to have someone in case you get in trouble, but a proper spot is not something that you just stand there and lift. Most people just like put their hands on the bar. What if I drop that shit? You're going to catch 300 pounds or 200 pounds. If I, suddenly, most people don't know how to spot. I see a lot of people spotting the bar when someone squats. That's not how you spot a squat. You don't just stand there with your hands under the bar. You're going to catch 315? No, you have to fucking get under the arms like you're almost butt fucking the person. And most guys are, so homophobic, they don't want to get in there and give a real spot. But you have to be with someone that knows how to do it, because you can get really hurt if you're depending on sometimes having a spot is worse if you have someone that doesn't know what they're doing. Because if you have a spot and you're psychologically pushing to failure with the anticipation that you don't have any risk because someone's spotting you, and then they're not ready, you can fucking go too far, and then you're both in trouble. Because what if you both fall back and he gets hurt, or you go forward and he comes, it doesn't necessarily protect you, just like a belt doesn't necessarily protect you. What's the deal with those toe shoes with socks? Oh yeah, answered already. Alyssa Gutadoro, author, can you recommend a good protein bar that doesn't have a lot of junk in it? No, I have none that I would recommend. I think there's some bars like, there's some bars that are like actually grass-fed beef. Like I think they're Epic bars. I don't really know what they put in them. I've seen them at Whole Foods before, but I don't buy or use any of them. So I couldn't answer that. I think when you have like a protein bar, when you have the word protein bar, unless it's like grass-fed beef jerky that you made at home, I think that by definition means that there's something fucking in it. I don't know. Most people go for protein bars. You don't need that much protein, man. What do you think about people who wear the sweatsuits, trash bags for training? They're probably boxers or MMA fighters or something. It's stupid. It's a risk. You can fucking have a heat stroke. Never asked a question here, but here it goes. Abby 2700. I like to interval run, sprints. I'm a natural toe striker. Ran in college. Never had issues. Now I'm 32 and experiencing shin splints. Have found stretches to target post and anterior tibs. And I'm foam rolling. Are you strengthening your anterior tibialis, or are you just stretching it? Because usually that's because you have weaker, I believe it's the muscles that extend the foot. Was it extensor digitorum on your feet, and the anterior tibialis? Are you doing strengthening or just stretching? If you're not doing strengthening, you need to do stretching. Strengthening. Why do Savage Memes 68,000? Why do fast food restaurants push not frozen meat when they know they're just trying to compete with McDonald's? I don't know. I don't know what their marketing campaign is like. I don't look into any of it. Non-frozen meat when they know they're just trying to compete with McDonald's. If you say never frozen, that's a marketing. It's marketing. It's marketing. Marketing doesn't necessarily mean that it has to sound good so you come in and buy it. It doesn't have to be. It's like saying like this is. You could say this is. You could say not frozen. Let's see. Well, they're usually. I don't know. Literally, it's just marketing. Literally, it's just marketing. Most of the time, you're being split tested. You don't even realize that they're showing 5,000 ads across the country and seeing which one does better, and then they're showing that one. So most things that companies do are split testing. They see how the response is or how the sales go up, and then if it does really well, they do more of that, and they become a slogan or this and the other. Laroque Inc. I don't even know it. Sometimes I can't tell where the screen name starts or ends. Let's see. What advice would you give a 53-year-old overweight guy who has never worked out regularly? Yoga. I hired a personal trainer and I'm tracking my nutrition daily. I feel better than I felt in years. Elimination diet, yoga, and proper stress management to reduce cortisol levels. So yoga, meditation, hydration, regular sleep, eating the right foods, all that stuff. So that's what I recommend for a 53-year-old, a 33-year-old, a 73-year-old, a 13-year-old, everyone. That's good advice. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Abigail May on Facebook. How well your liver makes bile is important. You cannot slam your body with fat and expect bile to be quickly produced. Take time and introduce fat slowly. You'll have to figure out if your liver is going to do what it needs to without a pouch to store its bile. I got it. So you can consume fats and then slowly increase and see if your body can handle it or allow it to adapt. That makes sense. I had gallbladder pain, but after eliminating junk foods, grains, and alcohol, it's gone. My father-in-law doesn't have a gallbladder, and the only thing he cannot eat are nightshades. Interesting. John, it's laying those small bricks every day. Everyone neglects. Sleep, hydration, nutrition is much more important than most think. Agreed? Abigail again. I was so against yoga. Like, who has the time for that? I had no idea how impactful adding it would be. Aha. The yoga is real. Let's see. Anyone else? They are selling you on freezer burn sucks. Our burgers are better than McDonald's. Yeah. All right. Let's see here on Instagram. Have you done any other training styles other than bodybuilding, such as powerlifting? No, I haven't. I used to do like endurance stuff. I used to do like trail running and stuff. I went through a period where I was doing like literally just tons of endurance stuff. I was winning like 5 and 10K trail races with Vibrams on. I was becoming an animal, but I loved lifting so much. I was overdoing it. I was lifting heavy and then running 10 miles on the beach, and I just overdid it. Started getting tendonitis and stuff. I lost interest in it. It's just too exhausting. It was too much. You know, it's one of those things you get passionate, you go really hard at it for a while, and then you just kind of, it's not for me. So, you know, I have other interests now, so I haven't done everything out there, but I've swam, I've run. The only real physical activity that I haven't done a lot of my life was like martial arts and stuff. I dabbled, but I never really did it regularly or consistently. Great stuff, fam. Okay, so Instagram is going to end in 30 seconds, so I'm not going to restart it. Remember, Instagram tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. You have to go watch on YouTube. I'll stream it live. YouTube at 12 noon Eastern time. Special guest Alan Roberts from Every Damn Day Fitness. And that goes for everyone listening. Tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time will be live, and the YouTube video, YouTube will be streamed on my main YouTube channel. So if you're not yet subscribed, go subscribe on YouTube and hit that notification bell. That way you get notified when I go live. So I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 1011 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. The Sunday Funday Q&Anus has completed. I hope you got some great answers. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate it. Sorry if I couldn't answer some of those, if I don't have personal experience, but as always, I'll do my best to answer to the best of my ability. But if you ask something specific and you don't provide context, I can't really do that from a professional standpoint and with good conscience if I'm not going to misdirect you or mislead you in any way if I don't have good opinion or good experience or good answer. So I will see you, of course, next week for the next Sunday Funday Q&Anus. But for now, tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, tell your friends, make sure everyone's here because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of this bullshit on all social media platforms, people that are copying people's content, people that are scamming other people out of their money, just fitness jabronis, all sorts of stuff that, is just social media exposes people. So, and Alan Roberts is one of those people that has been doing it for a while. Like myself, we're both doing similar types of content, but he picks up on some really good shit in his videos. So I encourage you to go follow him over on YouTube. Check out his stuff at Every Damn Day Fitness on YouTube. And I will see you both, you will see both of us here streaming live tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time for episode 1011. See you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose, your boy, Papa Swole. Out.